Hello friends, James Stevenson here with a bit of a different video this time. This one's going to be about Twitter and creator ad sharing. How do you know if you qualify for a cut of the action on Twitter when you tweet something that gets millions of impressions and Twitter puts ads in the replies below your tweet? How do you qualify to get some of that revenue as payment for your creation of good tweets or original content? I will answer that question after offering breakfast to Loki, because this is also an episode of Breakfast with my co-host, Loki. Grab that for him. And Loki will either come over and enjoy his breakfast soon, or he'll wait and eat later. Either way, you can keep an eye on Loki in the Loki's bed cam right here below me as I show you the summary first, which was encapsulated well by Tesla news junkie Sawyer Merritt, who's a great follow, just passed 500,000 Twitter followers, who tweeted, "Update, Twitter has made a slight change to the creator ads revenue sharing program. Instead of requiring 5 million impressions per month in each of the last 3 months, Twitter will require you to have at least 15 million total impressions on your posts within the last 3 months. This means if you have a viral post that gets 13 million impressions and you only got 1 million impressions the prior 2 months, you're still eligible." Alright, so yeah, 13 and 1 and 1 makes 15, so there you go. You don't need lots and lots of tweets, and you don't need them. You don't need to have home runs get hit every month for 3 months straight to qualify anymore. He did lift my screen capture. I had just tweeted this same thing, but he wrote a better tweet than I did, which is why I'm showing you Sawyer's tweet. Thanks, Sawyer. All right, so that's one of the ways of looking at it. The other way is to just show you an example. Let's see, which one of these do I have pulled up first? All right, so here's account analytics. So if you go to twitter.com/i/account_analytics, you can see a brief summary of what your analytics look like over the previous 7 days. How do you know it's 7 days? Because it tells you in the note down here, metrics shown for the last 7 days. So I've had 2 million impressions, which is down for me, with a 5.7% engagement rate, which is pretty good. Tweet engagements divided by impressions. Then profile visits, link clicks, new followers, up 2,000%. That seems kind of suspiciously high. That's a lot of new followers for me. With a bunch of likes and media views. These include when I'm posting memes or charts or videos like this one. Then if you click this button, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. So sorry for the big change in color. I don't think they make a dark mode version of these analytics. Let me move the camera as Loki has decided to start sampling his breakfast here, as he often does. He gives it a minute or two before coming over to enjoy his breakfast. All right, so what do you see here? Well, across the top, now it's a 28-day summary. So over a 4-week period of time, I've had 10 million impressions-ish, which is telling me is up 99%. 93,000 profile visits, 4,000 mentions, 172,000 followers in total, up 5,000 followers over the last 28 days. Then for July, it's telling me my top tweet was this meme that I posted the day that Elon said he had shut down all the accounts that were pulling down lots of information to train large language models on. Elon replied to it. So that was my top mention, and this was my top tweet. This is my top media. I made a chart about Tesla earnings growth. Most of my content, if you're watching me for the first time, most of my content is about Tesla. So you can just scroll down and see, 11 million impressions in the month of July. That's a good head start toward 15 million. If you look back at June, I only got 3.83 million impressions. This would have been enough under the old rule to make me not qualify for ad sharing revenue at all for the months of June or July or August, because in the trailing 3 months I would have had a month with less than 5 million impressions. That would have been enough for me to not qualify, right, Loki? You're a good boy. You ate all your food. Yes, you get a treat. Yes. Happy boy. Good boy. Yes. Yes. All right. So there is another way of looking at this. I'll just show you the other months here. So you can see in the other months I had 5.3 million impressions, 15.3 in April. That was the month Elon followed me, so probably I got a lot more impressions that month from some back and forth conversation I had with Elon about signing up to be to make subscriptions available to my followers, which I did at Elon's suggestion in April. Then in March, 5.46 million. In February, 5.54 million. In January, 8.39 million. And it'll also show you fun stuff, like I got followed by John Cena in December, by Gwyneth Paltrow in January, by LeBron James in February. Ed Krasenstein, I guess, has the most followers, who followed me in March. You see Elon there. Nobody in May. I don't understand why there's no data showing in May. Seems like I would have had a top tweet or a top mention during that month. Okay, so that's that page. You can also look at it by tweet, and it'll give you the information on each tweet. So some of these are subscriber-only tweets that I shouldn't show you, because you have to be a subscriber to view those under normal circumstances, but I guess I can make an exception for this video. Here's a little chart showing the breakdown of my 9.9 million impressions. Where did they come from? And you can export data from here, which I have done. So I'll show you what that looks like. And I also made some charts out of that data. Those of you who are familiar with my work will not be surprised. So I left a link in here with instructions on how to update my charts. When you export them, they just look like this over here. I've called this the daily section, where they're giving you for each day of the month, and it comes only 1 month at a time. They don't have a longer time frame that you can pull than 1 month. Even if you try a custom date range, you can make it for less than a month, but you can't make it for more than a month. They won't let you do it. So tweets published, it always shows me as 0. I don't know if you need to have a sponsored account, or you need to pay to, or you need to schedule them in advance. Maybe I don't do that. I always send my tweets as soon as I finish composing them. But it gives you impressions here. So I got 1.5 million impressions on March the 8th. I can't tell you why. Engagements right next to that. Engagement rate, retweets, replies, likes, user profile clicks, URL clicks, if you had URLs in your tweet, I guess. Well, it must include more than that, because I don't send URLs in tweets every single day, but there are counts here for that. Hashtag clicks, detail expands, etc. But the only one of these that matters for whether you qualify for ad sharing revenue or not is impressions here in column C. Also, after it gets to the end of this first section, it just gives you all of your paid promotion data, which I didn't need for anything. So I've replaced that entire section by just doing cumulative totals on these, because it is the cumulative amount that matters of engagements. It's not a daily requirement, it's a monthly, or actually a 3 rolling month number now. So I put in a cumulative section to give me how many engagements there were if you add up all the days so far in the month through the 31st day of the month if the month has 31 days, right? So I did that for March, I exported April, I exported May, I exported June, and I exported July month to date. I just filled in no growth at all for July 30th and 31st. Today is the 30th. I did this yesterday. So then I made charts out of these. So how did I do that? Well, first I made this page where I totaled up just the impressions for each month. So you can see these are the cumulative totals of impressions here for March, April, May, June, and July, month to date so far for me. And that's the cumulative totals. In the section right below that, I had to make the daily impressions. That's just math, subtracting today's cumulative, subtracting yesterday's cumulative from today's cumulative. That's how you get the daily impressions if the first thing you fed it was the cumulative. That was just easier for me to be able to do the rolling 3-month totals. So because the data doesn't go back any farther than March, the first month that I was able to show 3 rolling month totals for was June. And for July, I don't even have 2 full months yet of rolling 3-month data. But over time, I will continue updating this, and then this will get filled in more. Okay, so here's the one that matters. I've put a threshold on here, the ad sharing minimum, at the 15 million that Sawyer mentioned in his tweet we saw at the beginning of this video. That's the amount you need to have over a 3 rolling month time period. How was I doing in June, which is the yellow line, and in July? I was able to maintain between 20 and 30 million impressions at all times in June and July, which is good news, not getting close to this cutoff where I would no longer qualify for ad sharing revenue. So you can see that throughout June that rolling amount changed, and then through July it started to fall off in the middle of July from a high of 30 million down to a low near 20 million. You can see on the monthly chart here, I did each individual month as well. So March is in the blue here, and these are just adding up the cumulative for the month. Under the old rule, it was every month needs to be more than 5 million for your ad sharing to hit. And you can see in June, the yellow line, by the end of the month, I had not made it to 5 million. That's the 3.8 million that we saw previously. On the analytics page, in every other month I made it above 5 million, even though I didn't know that was the cutoff. Twitter didn't announce until, just a couple of months ago that their requirement was going to be 5 million per month, right before they changed it to 15 million over the rolling 3-month time period. So what's this April doing? Well, I got a lot more impressions starting on April 12th and running through, April 19th. This was the most impressions gained activity that I had. So I would have to go back to April to tell you what that was. Maybe my forecast getting published, maybe this was when Elon followed me, and that's how I got a lot more impressions over this time period. But that's why you saw the decline here. It wasn't because of anything that happened in July. It's because I was wrapping on that April time period when impressions went up by a lot so fast. As the 3 rolling month average keeps moving, eventually you're going to lose these out of your average. So that's what you see happening here in July. And so the takeaway from this is that, yes, I qualify for ad sharing. So you may be wondering, how much ad sharing revenue has Twitter shared with me? The answer is $0 still. So far, people were posting the amounts they were paid a couple of weeks ago. Under the old rule, the every month needs to be more than 5 million impressions rule, and I did not qualify for a payment under that system and despite having published the change in the policy several days ago, still no payment for James on ad sharing over the past, since February, I guess, is when Elon said they were going to turn on ad sharing. So more to come, maybe, on that. We'll see what happens. But for now, I will outro. After checking in with Loki over here, I'll move his camera back so you can see him dozing peacefully in bed after having polished off his breakfast. And I'll say, if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button to let me know that you liked it, or you can just reply and say, thanks, James, I liked this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can do that a number of ways. On Twitter for 69 cents per week by subscribing to me, on Patreon for $4.20 per month, $4.20, or on YouTube you can join my channel and support in a number of tiers, the highest of which is the executive producer tier, so thank you to my two executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, and I'll see you in the next one.